So I've been using the iPhone 12 Pro Max for about a week now, and wow, I have mixed feelings about it. What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time, my name is Mastercard and this is my channel where I talk about tech stuff that excites me. So about a week ago, I unboxed the iPhone 12 Pro Max and gave my first impressions. If you want to check that video, you can click the card above. And I've been loving the experience with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but there are a few things I hate. So I'm going to be sharing those things with you. You see, when the iPhone 12 lineup was announced, it was difficult for me to decide which version of the iPhone 12 I wanted to go with. That's because for the last few years, I've been using an iPhone 7, and every model in the lineup this year, with the exception of the mini, is much more bigger than the iPhone 7 I was used to. But there was one key motivation that made me want to get a new iPhone, and that was the battery. There is a saying by Dimitri Martin that says batteries are the most dramatic objects. Other things stop working or they break, but batteries die. And my biggest problem with the iPhone 7 these last few years was the battery. I needed to charge it at least twice for it to take me throughout the day. So my biggest concern going in was which iPhone 12 model would give me the best battery life. And after so much thinking and debating, I decided to go with the 12 Pro Max. The new iPhone 12 design gets its inspiration from the iPhone 5. The design is reminiscent of the original iPhones, and I really love the flat design. It hasn't been a problem holding in my hand. It feels kind of streamlined, but one issue is that with the large size of the Pro Max, it gets difficult for me to hold my phone with one hand. And coming from a smaller phone like the iPhone 7, it hasn't been really easy. It is slightly thicker than the iPhone 5 and weighs much more, and probably you don't have to go to the gym with this guy. Okay, just kidding. But with the size and the weight of the iPhone 12 Pro Max, sometimes it gets very uncomfortable to hold. And for using it about a week now, I noticed that because of the way I have been using it, I kind of get this impress on my pinky finger. So that's something you should watch out for. You want to hold your phone in a way that it wouldn't be too uncomfortable. As much as I like and enjoy this design, there are a few things that I'm furious about and I feel Apple should have implemented better. First would be the absence of a fingerprint sensor. You see, with the pandemic raging, we are constantly wearing masks. Yes guys, you guys should wear masks. It definitely saves lives. So back to it, with mask on, Face ID does not work. And having a fingerprint sensor would have made unlocking your phone so easy. These days, you have to reach for the keypad, which gets a bit uncomfortable and uneasy to do, especially when you have something else in your hand and you just want to quickly check something on your phone. You see, the advantage of a flat body design over a curved design is that you get more surface area, and I feel Apple should have used that surface area to create a larger power button that you can use as a fingerprint sensor like we saw on the iPad. Speaking of surface area, the largest surface area you interact with is the 6.7 inches OLED display. Apple has completely moved OLED display on this year's lineup, so it doesn't matter which model you pick up, be it the mini, the 12, the 12 Pro, the 12 Pro Max, you're gonna get the OLED display. Before I got the 12 Pro Max, I thought I would hate using a large display because I was used to an iPhone 7, which is much more smaller. But after using it for about a week, I realized I've been missing out a lot. Compared to the iPhone 7 that I was used to, everything on the screen just looks so much better and brighter. From scrolling through social media and having more content on your screen to having a better viewing angle when watching YouTube videos. The screen is so much brighter, and most times I find myself reducing the screen brightness to below the half mark because of how bright it gets. But it's not all sunshines and rainbows. I mean, you cannot have the reggae without the blues. There are a few things about the screen I would have wished Apple implemented better. First, you don't have a high refresh rate. I know we might argue that an average user would not know the difference between 60 Hz and 120 Hz, but the Pro Max is not made for an average user. It's meant for pro users, so it should come with some pro features. Another thing I find annoying is I always have to swipe down to see my battery percentage because it's not visible on the status bar. I spent a good 30 minutes trying to find the settings to make this visible till I gave up and decided that it wasn't possible. Even on my old iPhone 7 that had a smaller display, I was able to see the battery percentage on first glance. So why not on the Pro Max? I mean, what is the essence of having so much screen real estate when you cannot see what's important? Performance on the iPhone 12 Pro Max has been so far impressive. The A14 Bionic chip handles any task you throw at it. I'm not an avid gamer, but I played some games like Alpha 9, which is my favorite game, and also played Among Us, and the A14 chip did not flinch. One thing I did notice is that sometimes it gets warm to the touch, which is expected from any device, so you shouldn't worry too much about that. Even with how good the Pro Max performs, we cannot call it performance-based because there are a few things that would have been implemented that would have made the A14 truly shine. One thing would have been multitasking. You see, the idea of having a large screen and doing one thing at a time just feels like a dumb idea. I would have loved to see some split screen action and better picture-in-picture implementation. Right now, the best we have in terms of multitasking is Siri, which is definitely a sad thing. Now to the battery. This was my biggest concern when I was trying to get an iPhone. I needed to get an iPhone that could last me the whole day. And if I say I'm not impressed with the Pro Max, I'll be definitely lying. I get about 7 to 9 hours screen on time on a single charge, and at the end of the day, I have 20% left, which is insane considering that on my iPhone 7, I could barely get 4 hours on just a single charge. Previously, if I wanted to leave the house, I had to make sure that my battery was fully charged, or sometimes I go along with the charger. But these days, I'm not concerned about my charger because I know it'll take me a while before I have to reach for my charger. That's how amazing the battery is. It took about 1 hour 44 minutes for me to charge from 9% to 99% using the Apple 20-watt charger, which is not such a bad time, but could have been better. Also, it gets really hot when you're charging it, especially when you're using the MagSafe charger that charges at a rate of 15 watts. So it's something worth taking note of. When you're charging your phone, you might just want to drop it on the table so it doesn't get hot in your palms. The battery is not the only amazing thing about the 12 Pro Max. The camera is also amazing. I know this might be a very controversial statement and I might sound like an Apple fanboy, but this is me just sharing my experience. Coming from an iPhone 7, this is a very big leap for me in terms of picture quality, but it will not make much difference to you if you're using an 11 or 11 Pro Max. But still, it doesn't mean that the camera is not amazing. I took it out for testing, and when it comes to pictures, it definitely made me fall in love with the fall season. The selfies were sharp and crisp, and when I posted on Instagram, I got a lot of comments. The 47% larger sensor also makes the pictures coming from the rear camera such a beauty. I took a road trip just to test out the cameras and I was really impressed with the pictures. The videos are also amazing. The video you're seeing right now was captured with the rear camera and it's surprising how much details you can get out of the phone camera. One issue I encountered and I feel like no one is talking about is the lens flares. Because of how much bigger the lens is, the refraction of light is more profound. Although it might be subtle in pictures, in videos you begin to see a lot of flaring where there's a significant amount of light. So I hope Apple will be able to fix this with some software updates very soon. So before I conclude with my final thoughts, I will talk about the speaker and 5G. I would say I use the speaker about 40% of the time because I have an AirPod, so most times I listen to my music or watch YouTube using the AirPod. But the speaker is very loud and very clear. One thing about having a bigger frame is that you can have a bigger speaker, and also the speaker grills are much more larger, so you can have a lot of sound coming out of the speaker grill. I never go past the half mark because at 50% the audio is very loud and clear. So this is kind of the best level for me to listen to my music. I did compare it to the iPhone 7 and it's significantly louder than the iPhone 7. But here is how they sound side by side when they're set to 50%. Now finally to 5G, which was one of the major hypes of the iPhone 12 this year. Apple included 5G to bring better internet speed to the average user. But what are the implications of this to an average user? I would say nothing. You see, 5G is teased everywhere, but it's not readily available. For example, in the country where I stay, which is Hungary, if you wanted to get 5G, you only had access to it on one carrier. And I went to the carrier to get information about 5G, and they told me that I needed to be on the most expensive plan, which would see me paying about $50 monthly, and I'll have to be on the network for about 11 months, which doesn't really make sense to me. It's so expensive, so an average user would not have access to 5G maybe till about 2022, where it will be relatively available on all carriers and in every location. But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't get the iPhone 12. It actually means that your iPhone 12 is future-proof, and when there's 5G readily available, you can actually use your iPhone 12. So it's more like a good thing that Apple has included it now for testing, so other people can test it and see how iPhones will work in the future. Now to my conclusion, who is the iPhone 12 Pro Max for? So if you're someone like me that thinks about getting better battery performance and you don't mind having a larger display or the extra weight, then you need iPhone 12 Pro Max. But if you're someone kind of looking for an in-between battery performance and screen size, you should go for the 12 and not the 12 Pro, because I feel like the extra buck you pay on the 12 Pro is not justifiable. But if you're currently using the 11 Pro Max, there's no need to upgrade to the 12 Pro Max because the upgrades on the 12 are not really justifiable. It's not such a big leap for you to change your phone. But if you love changing your phone every year, then why not? Go ahead, upgrade to the 12 Pro Max. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel. Also drop a comment in the comment section if you really like the iPhone 12 Pro Max or which model of the iPhone 12 are you going to go for. Until next time, I am Mastercard. Peace.